So, hey Cancer, my name is Chris, and this is your beautiful reading for whenever you freaking find it. First card wants to come out. That's the good old Page of Cups. I love it already. There's the Queen of Cups as well. Follow your bliss, right? Follow what you love to do. Follow what you like, even if it's unexpected, even if it's unconventional, right? If it's for you, it makes you feel good while you're doing it because it's just a calling, right? And trust that feeling, that inner feeling. You know, we jumped right in, right? We're already in. I'm not doing the Celtic cross, by the way. 10 cards, and I'm going to relate them however they make sense. However Spirit inspires me to see it, to interpret it. 10 cards. You're waking up to that. Processing something, healing yourself. You know, joyful, loving creation. That's a healing process in itself. Waking up. Yeah, you need a little me time, right? You need to take care of yourself. You need to be yourself a friend. And do what you love to do. Carve out space and time in your life. There's the King of Pentacles and the Page of Wands. Wealth, abundance, and prosperity. And where are you going, my friend? Let's just see. 9 of Pentacles is here. Low-hanging fruits. You just have to do something and you get something out of it. But you don't necessarily have to do it alone. You're working together with good people. 3 of Pentacles, right? You're building that damn cathedral, right? Everybody is bringing her talents to the table. Nobody is better than the other person. One might finance the whole thing. One might be the architect. One might be the mason who's building the stones and the architecture itself, right? All that comes together, working together, and you know, just showing up as who you truly are, not trying to be someone else. 2 of Wands, Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands, using your fire energy to manifest. And your subconscious frequency, that's very important. There is the 4 of Wands, kind of an invitation from the universe to take it a little easy, right? To take it a little light-hearted. So maybe it's a good time, and maybe you can freaking enjoy that good time. And how do you enjoy your good time? How do you spend your free time? That's the good question, right? Working together with good people on something that makes sense to you. So you got the King of Pentacles, you got the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is pretty much this energy where you're using your passionate energy. You're passionate about something. And again, you have this combination of the Page of Cups and the Page of Wands, so fire and water energy coming together, working together, informing each other. So you can be passionate about something and have fun with it. There is this narrative, usually in Christian mythology, you know, Christian spirituality, where passion is all about suffering. And in the initial stage, it is about suffering, right? When you learn how to ride your freaking bike, you most likely fall down and it hurts. If you're learning how to swim, you most likely are going to drown a little and probably swallow a lot of water. Why? Because you're trying to do something that you don't know how to do it, right? So you suffer for it, right? That's the suffering aspect of passion. But you know, eventually you get the hang of it, and then you learn how to do it. You learn how to ride your bike, you learn how to swim, and you don't need that suffering aspect anymore. You don't need to swallow tons of water when you go swimming. If you do, you're doing it wrong, right? There comes that moment when you get the hang of it, right? You learn how to do it, and you don't, you know, falling down with your bike is no longer part of the experience. Maybe you fall down every other year. I don't know. Accidents happen, things like that, right? Shit happens. But the suffering aspect is not part of the thing itself, of the experience itself. And where are you stuck in this belief that you have to suffer for your passion, that you have to suffer, you know? You can be passionate about something and not suffer for it, but just have freaking fun with it. You know, that's the story of the Page of Wands and the Page of Cups. And then you got so much good stuff here. So you again, Wands and Cups energy. So you got the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Wands. These two aspects come together. They're not working against each other. They're not antagonistic to each other. Suffering and joy, you don't need the suffering part. You can be passionate and joyful emotionally. That works together. It's not a contradiction, right? Queen of Wands, Queen of Cups. That's the internal stuff. You need to make peace with your passion and begin to have joy with it, right? And I see you totally doing that, mastering that, from the pages to the queens. Queens is in a mastership. And then you got the low-hanging fruits. You got how do you manifest it out in the world? You're not doing it alone, right? It's all about frequency, right? And the more you tap into your true, authentic frequency, into joyful, loving creation, into overcoming that suffering aspect of passion and not negating your passion, but turning your passion and informing it with Cups energy. You know, your fire is informed with water, you know, and then the great stuff is happening, and you don't need that suffering aspect so much, you know, culpa mea culpa because you have some fun. No, not on this channel. So you do that, and just by mastering that for yourself, by allowing yourself to have that, right, you're vibing on a frequency that is so beautiful, and you're co-creating with others who vibe on the same frequency. Low-hanging fruits, that's how it materializes out. And there's the Nine of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles. So there is something is coming about that. The universe is always co-creating with you. If you want the culpa mea culpa version of passion and, you know, oh, I can't do that, that's a little unconventional, there's a fish lurking out of that stupid cup, who am I to do that, right? I should go back behind the freaking fence with the cattle and, you know, flog myself and, oh, I'm such a horrible person, and shame, guilt, fear and stuff like that. There seem to be people who kind of a little stuck on that, not in this reading, not in this frequency. You're waking up to that, you know, you're waking up to the integration of fire and water. Your fire, your passion, no longer suffering for it. Why? Because you got the hang of it. You know how to ride your bike. You don't need to swallow a ton of water when you go swimming. You can just have fun and dive in and, you know. And then all these pentacles, this is manifesting something. And you have to, first of all, you have to allow yourself to do that. You give yourself permission. Don't ask anybody for permission to be happy, to be joyful, you know, to make that union of what is presented to us usually as antagonistic opposites, right? Fire and water, they can't go together. But look what happens when they go together. Look what happens when they freaking go together. Fire and water can't go together. I like it. Look at that. I love it. So no contradiction there. And that's how it manifests out, right? You're waking up to that. Contradictions, not for you, not for us, not in this reading. Queen of Pentacles, the Tree of Wands, waking up, taking good care of yourself, allowing yourself to be happy. Why? Because you deserve it. You're not a freaking evil sinner who has to rot in hell forever, and you don't have to crawl 100 miles on your freaking knees through the desert, repenting. No, you are a freaking child of God, and you have every right to be happy and passionate and joyful and all that freaking jazz, And if you truly love yourself, you take that invitation from the universe. There is the devil who is always telling you you're not good enough. Who do you think you are, right? You go back behind the fence with the cattle, do your 9 to 5, and maybe we allow yourself an hour at the weekend to do that, which you really love to do. No, you carve out space and time in your daily life to do that. Why? Because you are an expression of the divine. That we don't need that, right? But it's there. And if you have been, that is the triumph with the queens here. You're waking up from that, that's the inner voice that we have internalized from narcissistic people, from toxic antagonistic people. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Do you think you can? Do you think you deserve this? Look what you did. Look at all that weird porn that you watched 10 years ago. Oh my God, guilt, fear, shame. How dare you? Love yourself. Don't get cocky, right? Don't get cocky, right? Sometimes we get cocky, right? And just playful, loving, joyful creation. Trust your intuition. Everything is aligned for you. And you know what, devil? You can go to hell where you belong. That's my reading. And it's your life. Make something out of it. Sleep 8 hours if you can. Right? But that's a kind of a stupid one, right? Everybody knows that, but sometimes we just can't. So I give you another one. The moment you feel like you have to prove your worth to somebody is the moment you walk away, because you're a divine being, right? Your worth is not in question. You don't have to do something to be worthy to be here. You have every freaking right to be here. And don't be too nice to people. You do your thing. Don't say yes to everything. You got something going here. You're passionate about it. And now it's time to finally have fun with it and skip, overcome that suffering aspect of passion and take that cup, master that cup. You're still passionate about it and you're crystallizing it out. Queen of Wands energy. Be true to yourself. Have healthy boundaries, that's for sure. Communicate these healthy boundaries, and if somebody oversteps them, usually narcissists don't give a damn about. But you tell them, oh, there's my boundary, don't overstep that, then they are overstepping that. Then you just, disengage from them. You don't allow to create some negative consequences. That doesn't mean that you fight with these people. But you get these people who don't respect you and don't respect your inner light and your divine right to be happy with that which you're passionate about, in responsibility, in the sense that you are expressing your highest potential. Anybody who's questioning that is not your friend. Systematically root out people in your life who use you, who lie to you, who put you down, and who disrespect you. What else we got? Yeah, and then go into the world. You cannot avoid peace. You cannot find peace by avoiding life. That's Virginia Woolf. There's a lot of Pentacles energy here. There's the Justice card here. You do what you love to do, right? Ideally on a daily basis, not just on the weekend, on a Saturday, and Sunday you already feel like shit because you have to go to work tomorrow, right? That's not a life, that's slavery. Try to transform your life. You have every right to do that, to make joyful, loving creation a thing, an everyday practice. You're a child of God, of Brahman, of Allah, of Buddha is not a god, but Buddha consciousness is the thing. But you don't need to justify yourself. You are here, period. And you're waking up to that. And there is the Four of Swords here. Don't get cocky, that's what I said, right? It's not about grandiosity, right? You're a child of God like everybody else, right? So there's no grandiosity in that. There's a humble knowledge and recognition in that, but no, you don't need to be cocky about it. You don't need to, oh, I'm a child of God, and you're not. Yes, everyone is. So it's not, So divine humble pride in what it is that you're doing, and something will come out of it, something good. And you're not doing this alone. There's always co-creation on this level of frequency that you allow yourself to be in. And this is a reading that reminds you that you have every right to raise your frequency, not into guilt, fear, shame, that would be lowering it, not into anger and hatred and frustration. That's what the shady aspects want you to be in. They want you to be in denser, sorrow, scarcity, guilt, fear, shame, hatred, anger, frustration. That's where they want you. That's behind the fence with the cattle, right? You raising your frequency, joyful, loving creation, in the knowledge that you deserve that. That is your God-given right. Waking up to that, and that is a mindset, a frequency that you have to maintain, right? So what I always recommend is breath work and meditation. 7 seconds in, 14 seconds out, 8 or 16 out. 1 in, 2 out. The out breath always 2 times instead of the in breath, so you get rid of negative energy, releasing negativity, and then you combine that with meditation. If you've never done it, 5 minutes every day. If you have 10 minutes to scroll to social media, you can skip that and do breathwork and meditation instead. 10 minutes, 5 minutes each, you can do that, absolutely. Treat it like a freaking workout. People don't seem to have that many problems to go to the gym every day or every other day. But, sitting there in silence, just reading or meditating, that seems to be kind of feels like a waste of time, but it's totally not. Four of Swords. It's a healing process. It's kind of cultivating that waking up process again and again, reminding yourself that you totally deserve that. Happiness, joy. That is fire energy. That's the Four of Wands. It's, nobody gets burned. We're having a good time. We're combining fire and water. It's not a paradoxical couple that can't go hand in hand as demonstrated here. Thank you very much. No, right? And that's pretty much all I got. There is the Blue Earth Angel number 10, which is, I think, pretty much one of the best cards here. Yeah. Higher vibration. You are expanding your awareness and evolving to a higher vibration. This vibratory shift, is part of humanity's natural evolution. It is occurring alongside rapid technological change. Time seems to be going faster and faster. The days and years fly by. This is why you feel overly sensitive and emotional at times, and why there is so much fear and confusion in this world. Looking back at our history, see that great change usually occurs in times of conflict and upheaval. Yeah, we have noticed that, right? Perhaps these conditions are necessary for major change to occur. The beautiful angel on this card is here to remind you and assure you that all is well and unfolding as it should. You are safe and humanity is on the right track, even though it may not always seem so. right? Some outdated structures in our global fabric may need to fall along with some outdated views and mindsets. Either or mindset. Or fire and water, they can go together. Yes, they can. It's perfect. Right? Of course they can. It's not either or, it's both. Welcome to the age of both. You are safe and humanity is on the right track, even though it may not always seem so. Some outdated structures in our global fabric may need to fall along with some outdated views and mindsets. This is a necessary part of our evolution. A new era will soon be born, one of higher awareness and great love. You are part of this new world. Yeah, thank you very much. You didn't find this channel as a fluke, you know. You're part of this, and you deserve to be. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. One animal, spirit, overcome any obstacles. That's Rhino spirit, not by force. Not by force. You're not arguing with people. You just go one freaking step after the other in the direction of that which makes sense to you, which is the highest expression of yourself. You know, you don't need to suffer for your passion. You can have a little water energy to your fire and really have a good time. That is your God-given divine right. Namo Buddhaya. Share, like, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think about it. There's a yearly reading, there's a summer reading, and if you want the full picture, sun, moon, and rising signs waiting for you. Hope to see you next time. Namo Buddhaya. Ciao.